completed secondary growth in dicot stem. Today we shall see and study the secondary growth in the dicot roots. Hello friends, as we have studied in the dicot stem, in respect to the increase in the length of the plant, there should be a change in the breadth of the plant to adjust and to prevent the plant from falling down. Likewise, in the root of the dicot plants, there is also a secondary growth. The act of secondary growth is performed also in the dicot root. Dicot root. As we have studied the dicot root, the internal structure of the dicot root shows that the outermost layer is epiblema, next is the cortex, and the innermost layer of the cortex is called as the endodermis, and after that there is a layer of pericycle, and encircled by the endodermis there is ground tissue in which the phloem and xylem arcs are present on different radii. So the vascular bundle in the dicot root are called radial arrangement. The arrangement of the vascular bundles in the dicot root is radial, and phloem and xylem are found on different radii, and primarily from the beginning there is no cambium strip found. This is the xylem and this is the phloem bundle. These are arranged at the two different places radially, and hence they are called, their arrangement is termed as radial arrangement. So in the xylem, metaxylem is towards the center and the protoxylem is towards the endodermis or pericycle. So this arrangement is known as exarch. So there is the arrangement, exarch arrangement is found here in the dicot root, and on the separate radius the phloem is situated. So this is the primary structure of the dicot root. In the secondary growth, just the condition is just the same. As for example, if the plant grows in the length and also in breadth, therefore there should be also the increase of the root so that it can bear the weight of the plant. So therefore the size of the root also have to be changed. So in the dicot root, the act of secondary growth is performed as the secondary growth in the stem. Here what happens when there is the time for secondary growth, the cells just flanking the phloem gets meristematic first. What happens? The cells flanking the phloem gets meristematic, and in the inner side here the cells become meristematic, and they form the strip-like structure, and their division gives rise to the strip of cambium. Here the strip of cambium is firstly formed. The strip of cambium is firstly formed, and then the cells of conjunctive tissue, means the cells lying in between the xylem and phloem bundles, these are known as the conjunctive tissue. And here the cells of conjunctive tissue also gets meristematic, and they also form this portion of the cambium which is formed here is extended through this conjunctive tissue, and it goes towards the protoxylem of the next adjacent xylem. Here is the protoxylem. So these cells in the conjunctive tissue become meristematic, and here a strip is formed. The cells of the strip of cambium is now seen to extend from the upper part of the phloem to the beneath the protoxylem of adjacent xylem, and here the portion of the pericycle which is abutting to the protoxylem is also become meristematic, and so this strip is formed. That is the condition of for the next phloem bundle. Here also the strip just formed beneath the protoxylem is also extended to the next phloem bundle, and it also formed this conjunctive tissue. The cells becomes meristematic, and just on the upper side of the phloem a strip is here formed, and then to the adjacent protoxylem, and then to the upper side of the phloem bundle, and then to the next protoxylem, and likewise this protoxylem, and just from the protoxylem to the next phloem, the upward to the of the phloem bundles. So this strip is formed beneath the protoxylem and above the phloem bundles. So this strip of the new cambium is here formed, and what happens, the cambium, this newly formed cambium forms secondary xylem inside, the cut secondary xylem inside here, and it also cuts secondary phloem outside. That is why, due to formation of this secondary xylem and secondary phloem, the act is known as the secondary growth. And due to the formation of, as the new cells are cut and they are adjusted, they have to be adjusted inside the plant root. Therefore there is much pressure in this tissue. But this phloem is much crushed, as this ring, which is wavy in nature primarily, is transformed into a circular ring. So a circular ring is formed, and due to adjustment of the new cell formed, the phloem bundles, the primary phloem bundle gets crust. So what happens in this secondary xylem is formed after the secondary growth, and in the this secondary xylem in this secondary xylem, what are the components? Newly formed secondary xylem has vessels. These have vessels and phloem parenchyma, xylem parenchyma, but xylem fiber are formed very little. In the secondary phloem, what are the components? These are the sieve tube, companion cells, and here also the phloem fiber are formed in little amount. So due to secondary growth, this condition takes place. Other smaller and thinner medullary rays are also formed later by the cambium. These medullary rays are called secondary medullary rays and are larger, and they are prominent in the root. As we have seen that these medullary rays are also formed in the stem, but here in the root the secondary medullary rays formed as are prominent. So due to the formation of the secondary tissue, the primary phloem tissue get crust, and this is the result of the secondary growth. Then what happens after the newly formed cells due to secondary growth? There is a force generated for adjusting the new cells on the portion of the outer portion of the root, and hence it compels the root to enlarge its volume, outer volume. Therefore here the secondary, due to result of this secondary growth and for adjusting this tissue, in the cortical region, likewise as it is seen in the dicot stem, here also the cells of the pericycle, the single layered pericycle, the single layer pericycle becomes meristematic. Means it gains the capacity of division, and and it divides, and few row of thin walled rectangular cells are formed. Few row of thin walled rectangular cells are formed, and this row of cells is known as cork cambium. It is just like the dicot stem. It is also known as phylogen. Here exceptionally, this cork cambium is supposed to be also formed in the phloem exceptionally, and its forms this cork cambium which is formed by the pericycle is now become meristematic, and it cuts the secondary cortex outside. Secondary cortex outside, which is known as the phyloderm. So this secondary cortex is termed as the phyloderm, and these secondary cortical cells do not contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll here is not found in these cells, newly cut cortical cells, and this secondary cortex, the outermost layers of this secondary cortex, is also termed as the bark. Bark means the chal, but the bark of the root is not much extensive. It is of thin walled, and it is much compressed, and this becomes dead as the supply of nutrition and the water is inhibited in these cells. So shortly these cells of bark become dead, and so their fate is now to be sloughed off. They fell to the ground. These barks of the root of dicot plants is not much extensive. It is generally papery, and such is the fate of also the endodermis. The endodermis, due to formation of the newly cells, the endodermal layer and the other layers are put at the edge, that moves towards the edge of the plant root, and this it also gets the final result as the fate of the bark. They also slough off, and the epiblemma layer, which is the outermost layer in the primary structure of the dicot root, it also dies off, and therefore there are some places in which the newly cut cells become in the direct contact with the atmosphere, and they also perform the duty of the exchange of the gases as they are in the direct contact of the environment, and this portion of the newly cut cells which has intercellular spaces are termed as lenticell. Lenticell. So this is all about the secondary growth in the dicot root. Now I here topographically present how the stage, how many stages are in the secondary growth of dicot root. First of all, as we know, this is the primary dicot root. Here, this is the layer of the endodermis, and this is the layer of the pericycle. Here is the layer of the pericycle. So these are the protoxylem, these are the metaxylems, these are the metaxylems. Here are protoxylem, these are the metaxylem, here are the protoxylem, here is the metaxylem, here is the protoxylem, and in between the two, here is the position of phloem bundles. Here is also phloem bundle. This is the first stage. This is the first stage. Here is phloem. This is phloem. This is protoxylem. This is metaxylem. Here what happens? In the second stage, a ring is formed, ring of cambium is formed. This is the ring of cambium. This is the ring of cambium which is formed. And this is formed. These are the metaxylems. These are the metaxylems. These are the metaxylems. And these are the metaxylems. This is the phloem. These are the phloem bundles. Phloem. These are the phloem. Phloem. This is the phloem. This is the phloem. Phloem bundles. These are the phloem bundles. These are the phloem bundles. These are the phloem bundles. And these are the also phloem bundles. In the next step, what happens? What happens? This ring becomes circular. And it starts to cut secondary phloem outside. This is the secondary phloem outside and the secondary xylem inside. These are the rows of secondary xylem. These are the rows of secondary xylem. These are the secondary xylem here. This is secondary xylem. Secondary xylem, secondary phloem, and the cells of these are here are crushed. The primary cells get crushed. These cells are crushed here. This is the primary. These are the primary cells which become which are crushed due to formation of the secondary tissues. So this is the third stage. And now there is the formation of cork cambium outside the pericycle in the cortical region, and the new cells are formed for adjusting the new cells of the secondary xylem and secondary phloem, and the volume of the radius is enlarged and it get extended in ratio of the secondary tissue formed in the stem and the enlargement of the stem area. Therefore, due to adjustment of the secondary growth in the stem and secondary growth in the root, the plant do not fall and they become erect. They are erect. As we know that the plant has to tolerate the pressure of the wind and so on, by the pressure of the rainwater, and also other climatic changes. So there should be the adjustment between the root and the stem, and due to the secondary growth in the root and the stem of dicot plants, this is adjusted. Now when we meet in the next class, we will see that there are some anomalies. This is the normal secondary growth in the dicot stem and in the dicot root, but in some cases this normal secondary growth is changed for particular functions, and or say for giving mechanical strength to the large plant. So there is the change in the normal behavior of the cambium and the normal pattern of the secondary growth, and this secondary growth which occurs apart from the normal behavior of the cambium and apart from the normal activity of the cambium in other ways, this type of secondary growth is known as anomalous type of secondary growth or anomalous type of. So these are the anomalies which we will study in the next class. This anomalous secondary growth is in the third part of BSc, second part of the BSc. So in the next class we will read the anomalous secondary growth in the plants. Particularly this occurs due to the change of the position of the cambium, although its function is normal, or the cambium is at normal position but its function become abnormal. So in the next class we will see that. Thank you.